Hi everybody, this is Jennifer Mizuko and I am going to lead you through making some geometric art today, and I'll show you the tools that you need. A compass. If you don't have a compass, you can use anything to make circles, preferably see-through so you can see the center of your circle. But if you don't have that, it's okay. A pencil, an eraser, a brush just in case you want to add some watercolors, and a Sharpie just in case you need that for anything. Water if you're using watercolors, and a little towel if you want. And a ruler. That's very important. So these are all the supplies you're going to use, and I'm going to walk you through step by step. The first part of the process is to find the center of the paper. So you're going to put your ruler down and measure the center of going the width of your paper. So mine is 4.5. I'm going to make a little line at 4.5. I'm going to move my ruler down to the bottom, make another small line, and then I'm going to connect those lines and make my first vertical line. And then I want to find the center, the exact center of the paper, so I have to rotate my paper. For me, it's easier to rotate. If you don't want to, you don't have to. But I'm going to find the middle of the paper lengthwise again, make 2 little marks, and then a line connecting them. And then you have the center of the paper. Now this is great, this little takeout top, because I can literally line up the center of my top and then draw my circle. Or if I have a compass, I can take the sharp end, place it in the center, and then I can figure out how big I want to make my circle. If I want to measure my circle and have it be a certain amount of inches, you would do that before you start. And I think I'm going to make it 3.5 inches. So I'm going to make a little mark there. That's not necessary, but for certain, if you want to make concentric circles going every 1/2 inch, you're going to need an even number, or it to end on a number, or 1/2 inch. So I'm just going to keep it simple. I'm going to make my circle. Now this is the part that if you don't have a compass, it might be hard for you. But you can guesstimate where you want your lines to be. You can use a ruler if you want. It's going to be a little bit harder to get them to be exact because the ruler is straight and the circle has a circular edge. But you can kind of play around with where you want your intersecting lines on your geometric pattern to be. But I'm gonna lead you through as if you have a compass, because this is kind of fun to do. So what I'm gonna do is leave it open to the exact width that I made my original circle. And I'm going to take my pointed side of the compass, and I'm gonna go to every one of my quadrant cross lines to the circle. And I'm first gonna make a little line there, a little X mark there, and I'm gonna rotate my compass, and I'm going to make a little X mark there. So on either side of this central point over here, I'm gonna make a line and a line. I'm going to pick up my compass, and I'm going to move it to the next line that intersects the circle. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to make a little X mark on this side, keep my compass attached to my paper, and and I'm going to make a little X mark on that side. And I'm going to keep going around the circle until I have made all of my little X marks that I can make. And this is going to make something called a dodecagon, which has 12 pieces, 12 equal pieces. There's ways, if you have a protractor, that you can do this. So if you have a protractor, you can line it up with this middle line and you can mark any kind of angle that you want. So this would be 90 divided by, I think it's 30 inches, 30 degrees, sorry, 30 degrees. So every 30 degrees you would make a little line. So if you have a protractor, that works just as well, and that's awesome. You don't need a compass. Okay, so now that I've made those lines, now again, if you don't have a protractor or a compass, and you're just working with a simple line, simple circle, you can just start taking your ruler and you can make intersecting lines wherever you want, because once you've made your circle, that's pretty much all the geometry you need to really create in order to make a fun geometric design. It doesn't have to be symmetrical, it can be asymmetrical, it can be hand-drawn geometry where you just draw concentric circles without rulers and without all of the tools that I'm using. I'm just redrawing those middle lines to be a little darker so that I can see them. Okay. This is the basic shape that I am working with, and now I can have fun with this shape in all the different ways that I want to. I could make a smaller circle in the center, and I can do it without using a ruler or with a ruler, it's up to you. And I can kind of just start adding circles. I can also go add circles this way by going on each one of these little points. Honestly, I can really just have fun with this at this point and make my own design. I'm going on all 12 points. And making half circles. To kind of give the idea of a sun or a flower. You can be as calculated or random as you want when you make these designs. They can be circles, they can be lines. You could even put some symbols in here if you wanted to in some of the spaces, if you like. You could make hearts, stars, moons. Okay. Okay, so any kind of designs that you want to play around with. You can also take your ruler again. At this point, you can start connecting. Oops. That's why we have our erasers. You can just randomly start to connect points. And you can use any of these lines and shapes to add color to at the end. Some of them are going to perfectly line up, some of them are not. There's really no limit to the designs that you can make, because every time you connect point to point, you're going to make a different design. So this is a really great way of just getting a drawing down if you're learning how to paint and you just want some shapes to paint. This is a really wonderful way to do it because you're confined within a circle. You can also play around with the background. You can extend the shapes outside the background as well. It's really fun. Okay, so once you have your design, you can stop wherever you want. You can keep adding shapes. You can keep adding circles. You can go to the art supply store and get some shape stencils, ovals, triangles, squares, circles, that kind of thing. You can even play around with making shapes that go off of the original shape. That way you can kind of play around with the center. Oops. That's kind of off. So that is going to be my design. I got these great CFM case for making watercolors from my sister for my birthday. So this is my little unboxing of that. And I'm going to play a little bit with color. These are little half pan, handmade in San Francisco. I love them. They even say the color on the side. First time I'm using this kind of watercolor. Super excited.